Good afternoon. My name is Sergio Tolomi, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about pennies. And to start off, I'm going to show you a video of what I think is one of the few actually good uses of the penny.
Okay. I want you to hit the back of your head until it falls into your hand, okay? Okay, go. Now lean forward and hit your back of your head like that.
Ow. No, not fun. Ow. Ow.
Oh, there goes those three. Okay. Now, one more time.
Why?
Do it again. Do it again. Okay, there's two. Let's see if you can get it in one. Okay, ready? And go. Come on. Keep going.
I'm trying to get the penny out before
It's still there, what?
I can't do it! Why are you recording this?
Sure, just get up.
Alright, so many of us carry change from time to time, but how many of us actually pay attention or keep track of the low value coins? And specifically, I'm talking about the penny. Now, I get really annoyed every time I get change and I see pennies in my hand. And for example, when I go to the store and I want to buy a bag of chips, I realize first I'm angry because it's 99 cents, and then second, what am I going to do with the penny that I get back? Eventually, it gets lost in my car or at home, or for those of you who actually do use a penny, you gotta open it up, your wallet or purse, and then look for the pennies, and you're doing like math and so, we as consumers would benefit from the removal of the penny, and today I'm going to give you information on how. So first by showing you the everyday hassle associated with pennies, then I'm going to show you some costs associated with pennies, and finally I'm going to show you a potential danger associated with pennies. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the everyday hassle associated with pennies. And like I mentioned before, carrying coins with low value can really be a pain. So you get these pennies and you stick them in your wallet or your purse, and for me especially, when they're in my wallet, it's a pain to sit down. You have your wallet full of coins and they're really low value, so that's a problem. So it's a real pain in the butt, really. The second thing is machines don't want it. So all these machines that take coins, for example, laundry machines, vending machines, and even parking meters take coins, but they don't like the penny. I don't know why. Here's an example, CSULA parking, look at it. 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents, and even the dollar coin. Penny, man. I want to get rid of these things. Alright, so to finish off my point, I'm going to give you a quote by Professor Greg McHugh of Harvard University, and he said this in his 2006 blog at the end of the year about economics, and he said, "The purpose of the monetary system is to facilitate exchange. But I have to acknowledge that the penny no longer serves that purpose." So now that I've talked to you about the hassle associated with the penny, now I'm going to talk to you about some costs associated with the penny. So the first thing is the costs. Now the US Mint in their 2010 annual report gave some data on pennies, and the US Mint, if you don't know, is the people who produce and distribute the pennies. And how much does it cost to make a penny? That's one question that I want to emphasize here today. So what they said is that for the 5th year, the face value of the penny has exceeded. The cost of production of the penny has exceeded its face value. And what this means is that it's actually costing more to produce the penny than it actually costs a penny. So in 2010, a combined production cost from the penny and the nickel was equivalent to 49.6 million in production costs. That's twice the value that it was in 2009. And so, to answer my first question, it costs 0.0179 to produce the penny, and the penny is 0.01. And the US Mint gives a graph, and here it is. As you can see, the penny is on the negative side, and so is the 5 cents. But then the dime, quarter, and dollar are good. So now that I've talked some costs associated to the US Mint, what about you? There are very many pro-penny organizations, and one of them is the American for Common Sense. And what so what they are scared of is that it might cause inflation when we round up to the nearest nickel. But I did some research, and Professor of Economics in Wake Forest University, Robert M. Waples, says that if the penny were eliminated, rounding prices would not cost consumers extra money. So what he did is he analyzed 200,000 transactions, mostly dealing with the cash ones. And he found that for every 40 transactions you did, you'd actually break even. So that means that if we round to the nearest nickel, the actual chances of you rounding up and losing money are eventually break even with the chances of you rounding down and saving money. So in reality, you're not really losing or gaining anything. So, yeah. So now that I've talked the costs, now I'm going to speak to you about a potential danger, and specifically for kids. Gastric retention of zinc-based pennies is a journal entry in radiology written in 1999, and what the purpose was to study the effects of gastric acid on pennies. And gastric acid is like in your stomach, the acid. And they chose pennies after 1982, which is because after that, the pennies were mostly made of zinc, not copper, as some of you may think. So, and one of the reasons they found that this was important was because they stated that coins are one of the most frequently foreign ingested bodies by children. So, through their research, they found that the penny, once it's in the stomach for a couple of days, it begins to deteriorate due to erosion. And what happens is it releases a form of absorbable zinc, and therefore there is a problem if we get zinc toxicity. And this can cause local corrosion, ulceration of the esophagus, nausea, vomiting, abdominal cramping, and can be associated with multi-organ failure. But again, they also state that it's not very likely, but it can happen. And for those of you with pets, they're actually more susceptible to the zinc absorption, so it's not a good idea. So as we reach the end, hopefully you've had enough information to understand why I see that the penny should be removed from the system. You learned about the hassles, costs, and even a potential slight danger associated with the penny. So the penny cost is not worth it for the problems that it causes. So remember my quote, a penny saved is a waste of time.